everybody, and welcome to Speed Gaming 4, and welcome to this evening's Final Fantasy Randomizer weekly race. I am Current, and I'm joined here by my co-com, Rock Solid 84. How are you doing, Rock Solid?
I'm doing Current, and we had a little bit of technical difficulties there, but we got past it, and now we're ready to roll with what should be. I'm looking forward to a really fast race here.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you guys all for being patient with us. You notice on stream we have Sarasan, ZeroCool512, DVS, and Darren Dries. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the gate, if you would. Let me get your analysis on the parties that you see in front of you.
Yeah, well, of course, this flag set is here to sort of promote the ninja. So you can see everybody's gone with the ninja there as their main damage dealer. They actually can't choose a fighter or black belt with this particular flag set. If you want a physical damage dealer, you've got to go ninja. So they've all done that. And what's interesting is how some of the runners have chosen to go with the nuns in those slots. And you might ask, well, what's the point of going with the nun? And the answer is pure and simple: speed and experience. If you have fewer characters in your party, that means that the experience is going to be going to those characters who are still left. So, if it's me, I'm a newer runner. I'm more comfortable sticking with all four. But then you got people like DVS going hard on the two-man strats.
Yeah, it definitely comes down to comfort level as far as what you're willing to take with you. So we have dropped the gate. We should be seeing some action from our runners accordingly. We'll see if Sarasan and DVS's, less than 4 party member strat works out, or if ZeroCool and Darren have the run of it on stream. We do have 10 runners in tonight's stream, and we have obviously 4 on stream and 6 off. So hopefully everybody will do well and run speedily, and Warmech won't be too much of a butt because he will be patrolling around today.
Yeah, now, of course, one thing that we're going to be looking to see right away as soon as that race starts is what does the white magic look like at level 1? Because only some of the runners have a white mage. Others have gone with the red mage that are going to have access to some of that. So we're going to get a look at that in just a second.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like heal and cure. You got wall at level 1, which is nice, but nothing that particularly stands out.
Yeah, I'm not re-rolling at this point. If I came in without a white mage, there's nothing in there that you really need. That Fire 3 at Black Magic level 1 is going to be your early AoE, and that's the main thing. The ninja, by the way, is going to be able to cast Black Magic, but not until he hits level 15.
Right. See, Pro Ring plus 4 at the armor shop, that is going to be a very nice pickup when we have the money for it.
Yeah, and always good to know where pro rings are. That's the type of thing that I'm going to write down on my paper tracker right away, because I don't want to forget when it's time to start protecting my characters against death. That's the thing you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like DVS is already wielding that Fire 3 to get a little bit of early experience, as is Darren. So we get ourselves some good levels starting out, and obviously that will help our characters going forward.
Yeah, and DVS has to be a little bit more careful with just 2 characters, and that's why he took the levels, got the in, and did the second dip rather than just going straight to Garland.
Right. And chat pointing out that we are starting out with just promoted classes this evening. It's Ninja, Red Wizard, White Wizard, and Black Wizard. So no tail hanging around for Bahamut to smack us upside the head with. We're already all grown up.
Yeah, DVS getting stone touched by the wolves. That's never fun. Wolves, you run into them a lot, and when they have something like that, it can make your early game a little bit tough.
Oh yeah, definitely. Good news is, though, we do have Bane also as a black magic spell, and it looks like it hits on DVS's end.
Oh, Sarasan gets trolled by the Astos shuffle. Let's see if Sarasan can pull it through.
Yep, and that's another feature of the flags, is Astos, instead of hanging out in Northwest Castle, can go pretty much wherever he wants, and today he decided he was going to take over pretty much the rulership of at least the southern part of the world, as it were.
Yeah, and Sarasan's feeling pretty happy with that Fire 3, getting through a surprise Astos early on. That you can catch a wipe there, pretty easily.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like the King and Sarah gave away the canoe and the canal, so got a couple of travel agents to start out with tonight.
Yeah, and with Canoe and Canal in these flag sets, Unless we pick up this ship at Bicky, we're going to be going to Crescent after this because, we'll need something to either cash in at the Dwarves in order to get our progression, or to keep going east to which we can do with early open progression. The river systems are linked. We can get down to Crescent.
Right. And it's worth noting also that there are no loose items tonight. So, whereas you might normally see runners maybe go over to the Dwarven area to try to find maybe a loose item in a box over there, that's not going to happen in these flags. Everything is incentivized, so you'll find them at, well, the usual giving spots. You won't have to really look around for treasure chests from anything loose there.
Yeah, if you want to open boxes, you're better off doing a quick check of Matoya and resetting out if you don't like what you see, rather than going over to the Dwarves.
Right.
3 boxes to 2, and a little bit more out of your way.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely that time investment by itself would be something significant.
Yeah, I just want to point out, we also do have ice armor at Corneria, so that's endgame armor for the ninja, as well as the pro rings. That's another reason to go to that armor shop again when you've got some cash.
Yeah, definitely. I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the buy quantity flag being turned on, because most of my racing in the past year has been without that, so it's a nice extra comfort to have.
Oh, definitely. That's one of the many quality of life improvements that the devs for the Final Fantasy Randomizer put in. Of course, if you've ever played the original game, you know that you had to buy your heal potions one by one, and it takes forever. So it's stuff like that that makes running this game a real treat, and you can get it done in an hour instead of 12.
Yeah. Well, Sarasan trying to find softs in the Provoca shop, did not find them, took on the pirates anyway, and won. And it looks like we have a loot. Presumably.
Yeah, that was it said B Grand, and what's going on there? It's another developer flag. This one's just for fun, though. What it does is it's called Multi-Instrumentalist Sarah, and it just randomly changes the name of the loop to another instrument. So you could have a baby grand, a snare drum, any number of different things. It's just for giggles.
Yeah, livens up the orchestra a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
I will note also, we saw that apparently level 2 is the White Mage's Wet Dream, with Cure 4 and Life 2 being on the same level, which is not exactly ideal for spell charges, but it's still nice to see them at a spot that's not, say, 7 or 8.
Absolutely, and if you're zero cool, you're really happy, because you're going to be able to learn everything at level 2 with your red mages. So that means because he's got a white wizard too, that's 3 different people who can all cast life.
Yeah.
Or Cure 4. That's just so much safety right there. It's really what you need.
Absolutely. That is a fantastic security blanket to be carrying around the wilds.
So Saracen continuing down, of course, because we got the loot at Bic. We need to come down here to get progression, which could be the floater, which would give you the airship, and then make the ship essentially a dud item after that, or it could be the ship itself. Either way, we've got to get out of this inner sea somehow.
Yeah. And it looks like Sarasan going ahead and heading into Volcano, so...
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Sarasan does have a few levels, and does have Fire 3, but... I'd be worried that he's a bit under-equipped, and I'm not sure if he's got a house, so he can't get charges back if he decides to come back to the entrance.
Right. Yeah, I don't think he saved before going... Did he... He didn't save before going in, did he?
I didn't see him drop a save.
No.
Okay, here's what he's doing. He got so much money that he's saying, I got what I needed, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, that first chest definitely provided everything he needed money-wise.
Yeah, so that's all it was. He was probably just thinking, I'll raid the armory and go back to Crescent. Didn't even need to after he checked that first chest and got max gold, or close to it.
Yeah. That'll fund a few expenditures at Crescent Lake.
Oh, for sure. They're going to be telling tales of this day.
Yeah. The tales of the many random encounters that he's running into.
Yeah, now I didn't notice yet if any of these runners are doing much in the way of encounter manipulating, which makes me think that the run is not very good off the reset. We are looking at a 0.7 encounter rate on the overworld, which I think is a little high. Of course, the reason for that is we have ninjas, so we can run away from just about anything.
Actually, I'll note the overworld's 0.5, dungeons are 0.7.
Oops, my bad. So yeah, it's funny, even though even 0.5 still seems high because the vanilla encounter rate is so high that you get into encounters every step, it seems.
Yeah. Chat pointing out we have sighted a gold bracelet, and apparently it is a very good gold bracelet at that, so...
Oh, is that in Crescent?
I didn't see it, but maybe it just slipped my attention.
I think it must be, that's where they all are right now.
Okay, our tracker Jay Scheidel is pointing out in Provoca.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't think I saw it in Crescent Lake. I'm going, okay, where have we seen it? Also, high level Sick Warp, which good luck using that at the moment, but oh well, at least it's high Fade.
Yeah, unfortunately, Fade is not going to be learnable by the Red Wizards, but Warp was, as we saw with another quality of life flag, which is the shop information. You'll see the characters go into their victory pose if they're able to use a weapon or spell.
Yeah, that one is very new to me. I think the first flag I saw running that was one of last week's community flags, and it took me a second to really kind of take in what I was seeing. I'm going, wait a minute, this is new.
Yeah, of course, if you've played any other Final Fantasy games, you're used to stuff like that, but
yeah.
It was missing from this one, and I'll tell you, it's a huge benefit. And it goes even further. You can press select on any item or spell to get an exact description of what it does and what the values are. So it really helps out new runners like myself who just don't know this stuff offhand.
Right. All right, so it looks like Zero has ducked into the volcano, presumably to also raid the armory. I think DBS is working on getting some levels outside of Crescent Lake, which is understandable.
Yeah, with these flags, a grind at Crescent Lake is almost guaranteed. Sarasan checking level 3 magic and getting Bracken Temper at Black Magic. Very important spells. Exit, Cure 3, and Life. We're getting all the magic in this seed.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a pretty friendly magic seed for the most part. I mean, the only big spells we haven't seen are, you said we found Temper. We haven't found Fast or Nuke yet, but that's kind of about it, actually.
Yeah, we saw Invis, but I'm not sure if we've seen Invis 2, which is the better of the two.
Right. Also, all that Knight armor over in Elfland. Poor Knight.
Yeah, although we can use that flame shield, and
that's true.
It was pretty cheap. So Sarasan's pretty happy with the state of his ninja right now in terms of armor.
Yeah, I just saw that Opal +6 and my heart broke a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, Zero Cool picks up the game changer, the Vorpal, as well as a Pro Ring +4 in Volcano Armory. So Volcano is just stacked with useful gear.
Yeah, and found a +4 Coral Sword too, which is not exactly going to light up the headlines exactly, but it's still a nice serviceable blade for now.
Yes, and look at that. Invis 2 is at level 4 white magic, so we've got just about everything.
I was about to say, yeah, you must have given the runners good vibes on that one. Hello, Thorhammer.
Yeah, that was a commentator bless, and yeah, Thor scaling up quite a bit to +4.
Yeah.
Let's see what we get from the herb turn-in. It is the Adamant.
So, time to go run up to the dwarves.
Yeah, and, if it were me, that's what I'd do. We still don't have a floater. That could be anything. It could be a key. It could be the ship that could get us out of the inner sea. Yeah, at this point, it has to be a floater or ship, I think.
Well,
what else?
You've got an incentivized box in Volcano, so that's a possibility as far as it could be. One of the items could be in there.
Yeah, or ice.
Yeah, or ice. But yeah, the suspect places are rather small at this point. We've kind of looked at a few of them. We do get the key, obviously, that gives the possibility of Canaria, which is the locked chest in Canaria is a possibility there. So it all really depends on what pops out of the adamant spot, and then obviously we'll take it from there, and I'm sure so will they.
Yeah, of course, we could get a nice long quest chain, like maybe the adamant leads to the TNT with a lazy dwarf situation, and then the lazy dwarf gives you the key, and then the key gives you the crystal, and then the crystal gives you the floater. So we could be looking at a pretty intense bit of jogging going on here.
Yeah, I get the feeling if that happens, I'm probably going to see the runner spitting some nails on the race time site, which I have up right now.
Saracen spurning Hooray Dwarf and getting a slab. That is a big womp. We do not want to see that right now.
Yeah, that has to hurt.
That means that we are looking at a progression either deep in Volcano or in the Ice Cave.
Neither of which is particularly an enviable situation, honestly.
Nope, and that Crescent grind that Darren D-Rye is doing with the Peds going to be necessary, it looks like.
Yep. Yeah, I'll have to peek on Darren's and DBS's screens and see what their levels are. Meanwhile, Zero Cool is going ahead and making the dive through the volcano, so he is going to be... Oh, okay, he's got his ninja down. It looks like he's going to be, well, at least attending it, although it looks like he got some stoned. I think that Grey Wolf had glance, so yikes, not fun for him.
Yeah, those wolves definitely have handed out a fair bit of stone to most of these runners by this point, and not all of them have a stock of softs because they were pretty expensive at the beginning of the game. So I'm not sure if they were able to restock at Crescent Lake. I didn't see if they picked up any more.
Yeah, I don't believe they were in the Crescent Lake shop. I do know, I think they were 440 gold each at an area.
Mm-hmm.
So... And not expensive in the grand scheme of things, but at the very beginning of the game, when you have a grand total of not much of anything, yeah, it's a little tough to substantiate getting them at that point.
Yeah, and without the ship like you're used to having at this point, it's not like you just, hop in the ship and bam, you're back at Corneria. You've got to go, you've got to do this giant marathon circuit that they're all doing all the way around the Inner Sea.
Right. So I noticed that Darren's levels are around the 9... I think I saw between 9 and 12 range. And I couldn't quite catch DVS's because DVS is way too good at menuing for my bad eyesight.
Yeah, 148, that's hit points on the Black Wizard, so he probably is at his level 12. That's the level that I would start to feel comfortable coming in here. Looks like we might get a grind on a very good tile for it, especially when you've got Fire 3. This is veteran move to check this grind tile, especially if you've got some houses. You can get all the levels you need to go deeper.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Alright, yep, so you were right on the levels. It just went up to level 12, so about as spot on as it can get.
No house, unfortunately.
Ooh, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
Yeah,
so,
with the big... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'll be curious to see if DVS decides to take it any further, but it looks like he's going for the looting the armory instead.
Yeah, he's got warp, so you might as well. If I'm DVS, I'm going to loot armory, warp out, get my house, and go deeper. Because, as you saw right there, and now he can't warp out, this is a very dangerous spot to be in. I had this problem myself with these same flags earlier this week.
Yeah, it's one of those things that can definitely be perilous. Looks like though... Okay, well... Uh-oh. And yeah, those glance wolves are going to be problematic.
And they're unrunnable. Glance and glare, unrunnable wolf.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think he... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Saracen's decided to dive Ice Cave, so looking for the item in there.
I was just going to ask, DVS, I'm pretty sure, had a pro ring on that ninja, and he got glared to death. Do you know how that works? Because I thought the pro ring was supposed to make you immune to death.
I know the pro ring does give you a good bit of at least elemental resistance. I don't think pro ring guards against death, if I remember correctly. I may not be remembering correctly.
Yeah, I was under the impression it only guards against death, but some things like skills even though they kill you, aren't necessarily death, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, chat mentioning that glare is time elemental, so
There we go.
so if the pro ring does guard against death, then it doesn't guard against time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sarasan finding the power gauntlet in the ice cave, so that is a good pickup, certainly for the ninja.
Yeah, it's great to have. Of course, I mean, they're not going to be hurting for temper casts anyway, but you like having that in your back pocket for sure.
Yeah, well, it's still good when you can go ahead and temper thyself. Although it looks like those wizards are not going to let him keep his prize. Oh dear, that gives me flashbacks to last week's community seed that I ran. The wizards had Thunder, I think? And it made Ice Cave a freaking nightmare.
Yeah, that's of course with the randomizer, you never know which of the random enemies is going to have big bad skills that you normally see at the end of the game, and that's why we're getting situations like this with wizards with thunder and wolves with glare and glance, and both the wizards and the wolves are also unrunnable. So the nasty skills have gone hand in hand with the unrunnable, making this a pretty jolly seed.
Yeah, definitely. Sarasan is having a really rough time of it, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, now I wonder if Sarasan is power cycling, because if he is, then he's going to keep getting the same encounters and he's going to keep facing those wizards.
I don't think he is. It looks like he's soft resetting from what I can tell. But those wizards, the problem with it is there's so many different types of enemies in the ice cave, and they pop up in so many different formations, that it's kind of hard to avoid, well, really much of anything, honestly.
Yeah. Hey, shoutouts to chat with all the specifics on the elementals and what guards against what. Black shirt, I didn't know this. The only thing that guards against time, so even a ribbon, I guess, doesn't guard against time.
Well, I will say, the elemental properties of gear and protections is one of the things that I'm still kind of learning about the game, even though I'm about a year into it at this point. So definitely, yeah, I appreciate the help from chat as well. So thank you, and hello, Ribbon. Definitely a good thing to find if you're looting boxes, as DVS is.
Oh yes, I mean that's one of the best things you could possibly find. We were just talking about resistances. The ribbon provides resistance to most of the elemental attacks in the game. So if you've got a ribbon and a pro ring, you're pretty well protected. And that ribbon also at +4 is going to provide a little bit of absorb as well.
Yeah. So I mean, it's beneficial enough already, but that just makes it all the better.
Yeah, so I'm just going back over the items that everybody has, and wow, talk about the hand-in-hand progression. It looks like everybody's in pretty much the same position. Sarasan maybe with the edge, as we're about to get a look at that very potentially important ice cave item, although it could be DVS with the volcano incentive coming out with a floater.
Yeah, DVS or Zero Cool, because Zero Cool is also on the Agama floor, so he's a little bit behind DVS at this point in the dungeon, but they're both advancing on it fairly rapidly.
Now, Darren D-Rise, of course, took a little bit more time grinding Peds, it seems, but is feeling the pinch of finances not having gone to Volcano yet.
Yeah. Well, once he gets that chest, his money issues will basically be taken care of.
Oh, and my heart's going out to Sarasan right now, who has advanced deep into Ice Cave and is getting shut down by the wizards again.
Yeah, and just in case the wizards having Frost was not bad enough, they also had Glance. It's just insult to injury at this point.
Yeah, and it's a tough call when you're in a situation like this because you don't have your airship. You can't just jump out and go ahead and say, oh, I'll do a volcano right now. If you leave, you're committing to a lot of walking, and you might have to walk right on back.
Right. Yeah, you definitely get into real considerations of the sunk cost fallacy with something like this. It looks like Sarasan's probably going for some levels at this point because I'm seeing vacuum 4 things. So
Yeah, and it's a good play, I guess. The only thing is, Sarasan probably doesn't have houses either. So that's where the grind, you can't really get too much value out of it because you'll use spell charges and you won't be able to get them back.
yeah. Ah, there's our ship.
Okay, progression was in Volcano.
Well, there you have it.
Now, the only thing that could save Sarasan now is if the floater is an ice cave and Sarasan comes out with the better transport item. There's a chance, though it's a small one, there's a chance that DVS and Zero Cool will bypass Ice Cave and just head out to the open sea.
It's possible, although, like you said, it's likely a small chance, and I don't think they're going to. All right, so DVS is taking on Carrie. Got lock on and some traditional swinging with the ninja. Try to make Carrie as hittable as possible. We had, I believe, Fire 2 came out from Carrie to begin with. Unfortunately, the ninja's not hitting super hard, and the Black Wizard just got flattened. Oh, dear. Good news is, though, much better armor on the ninja, so able to stand up a lot better to that.
Yeah, excellent point. Unless Carrie's got something nasty, this could be a long fight, but DVS does have a chance. Of course, not having been to Elfland, DVS doesn't have access to Temper. Not having been to the Ice Cave, doesn't have the Power Bonk, so it's going to take a little while.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah, it's going to be a war of attrition. And DVS has won with a 3 hits, 3 damage swing.
Wow, and once again, DVS loses his only other party member and limps out of Volcano with just the ninja.
I mean, hey, limping out with 1 party member is better than 0, so...
And we'll see how Zero Cool does with 4 party members and a lot more white magic. And Temper. Oh yeah, that's going to be big time helpful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 2 hits over 100 damage is a lot better than 3 and 3.
Okay, Sarasan makes it to the warp trick point. We're going to find out what's there. Oh, it's the key. So, I mean, I'm pretty happy to see that, except that I know now that my progression is in Volcano. I don't know if I'm happy or not to see that key there.
Well, the thing is, with the key, it could also be in Canaria Lock. So...
Good point. Yes, Sarasan doesn't know what we know. So for all Sarasan knows, the Volcano's a dud. Yeah,
it may have to... It's thinking maybe I gotta leg it back to Volcano, maybe I gotta leg it all the way to Canaria, and maybe these freaking wizards will kill me again.
Oh no, hey, if it was you, Karan, what would you do? I mean, the Volcano's closer, but Canaria is safer?
I mean... Well, I would probably go Volcano just from a routing perspective, just because it is closer. So I did notice, it looks like some of those levels, I believe, paid off for Sarasan, because we did see a nuke cast come out of that Black Mage, and fortunately wipe those wizards before they could really do much this time, so... Good advantage on that front, at least.
Okay, and DVS picking up his Bracken Temper, that's all important. Yeah, you're right. So Sarasan must be holding on to houses, which is why that grind at the top of Ice was really the ticket to getting through it.
Yeah, admittedly, trying to track 4 screens, and definite props to Jay Scheidel, who is not just tracking 4 screens, but is also pushing all the buttons for them too. It can get a little difficult to keep track of everything.
Oh, for sure, and somehow finding time to chat with us on Twitch too. So big time props, Jay Scheidel.
Yeah. I think Sarasan may have forgotten that he already grabbed the key here. Unless he just wants to use this as a grind spot.
That's what I'm wondering. Maybe it just wanted to check the grind. He should have warp, so he can get out anytime he wants.
Right. Okay, well, he doesn't have any more warp casts. Oh dear. Oh, he does, okay.
You'd have to do a bit of walking. Oh yeah, just take this exit right here, yeah. So now we'll see Sarasan make his decision. Key locked or volcano.
Meanwhile, Darren Dries is headed into Ice Cave, so we'll be seeing that key for him relatively shortly.
Yeah, and DVS picking up the gold bracelets for some serious defense here. Oh, they're expensive though.
Well, I was going to say gold plus 6 though, that's... I mean, yeah, you got to get the money to pay for them, but it's worth it once you get the money.
Yeah, with only a two-man party, it's a slam dunk. The only thing is, we haven't seen the vendor item yet, so you might be wanting to take that back if the next item shop you check has, floater for 50k.
That's fair, yeah.
Calculated risks, though. DVS knows what he's doing.
Yeah, knows what he's doing far better than I can definitely say that.
Oh, me too. We call DVS the Professor, and he's been doing a lot of running on stream the past couple of weeks. If you've been watching along with us here on SpeedGaming or over on Randomizer, you may recognize those three letters. So we know we're in good hands.
I think we got a Hooray Dwarf on Zero Cool's side, so run validated. Good job.
Exactly. Gotta pay homage. Sarasan does make the right call and goes down to Volcano.
We also got a Hooray Dwarf on DVS's side, so salute there too. Alright, looks like we're going to get a look at level 5 magic on DVS's side, and we have Lock 2 at level 5. That's a nice thing to see. And we'll also get a translated slab while we're at it.
That's an easy one to forget. I wonder if any of our runners will. Because when you get the slab and you're not thinking about it before you get the airship, it can just sit in your inventory untranslated, and then you wind up in Lefane and you go to talk to your key item giver and you get looped.
Yeah, it's happened to all of us at some point, certainly. I noticed Zero Cool is heading over toward Ordeals to go check it out, and you can do that with the ship. As long as you have that in the canoe, you're good to go sailing up there, so we'll see if Ordeals has anything particularly fun today.
Yeah, I love the early Ordeals with the ship play, and with Warp, it's even better because it'll help you get through that teleporter maze.
Right. And DVS is making the same move, so great minds and all that.
Okay, we're going to get to see Corneria locked pretty soon as Darren D. Rise raids the Sarah's pantries. Comes out with a cube.
So we have half of Team Sky Sky Sky. I guess we could call them Team Kai, but resets out of it. So Galaxy Brain moved with the save all the way back here, and then once that cube didn't work out, just jumping right back to go to a volcano.
Oh, Sarasan found Flame Armor, but I think already had bought it.
Oh no. It happens.
Yeah, it's still going to be good money to sell.
Yeah. Alright, so it looks like we've got 2 volcanoes and 2 ordeals at the moment, so our runners are all kind of running along relatively similar tracks.
Yeah, and I mean, up until this point, they've kind of had to. I mean, big major early on decision was ice or volcano. Now we're in a situation where, well, you can check ordeals, but we don't have Oxyale. You could check the waterfall cave if you wanted, but if I don't have Oxy, I'm probably not doing that.
Yeah. Alright, so Sarasan is now seaworthy, and Darren Dries will be that way relatively soon. Alright, so it looks like Sarasan is coming into this carry fight with 3 good party members, so we're going to have bukus of nukes coming out, and the ninja swinging for about 80 damage, so not too bad. The second nuke at least, putting in some good work. So I don't think Karu will be long for this world particularly, especially since you've got 2 good power-wielding black mages, and yep, down goes Carry. So Sarasan gets an Orb Lit at about 34 minutes.
Yep, and nice to have that taken care of. And the ship in your pocket too, of course, is the big one. Now the trick with this is when you get the ship in a place that is not vanilla location, that is to say, when you don't get it from Vicky, where the ship spawns depends on where you are, and it's a little bit unintuitive. So I wonder if Sarasan knows. It looks like Sarasan is heading to Elfland, which I believe is where the ship should be.
Yeah, it makes some sense. I'm not terribly familiar with exactly where the ship would pop up in that situation, but seems sensible.
Yeah, I always think that I know, and then I go to it, and it's just an empty dock, and got to go trekking to find it.
Fair. So DVS pulled a ruby out of the Ordeal's treasure, so gonna have himself chat with a giant, at least relatively soon, I would expect. And yep, there's our ship.
Yeah, Ruby's nice to get early on when you've got a flag set that incentivizes Titan's Trove, as we do, because it essentially means that you're getting 2 items for the price of 1. You'll take that Ruby over, feed the Titan, get his item, continue on to Sarda, and get that too.
Right, yeah. Especially since we don't have the airship yet, this is a particularly nice double that you can go ahead and take care of.
Yeah. And with Northern Docks, I mean, the airship could be anywhere. It could be in the waterfall cave. It could be... Well, I guess that's it for Northern Continent locations. Sea is incentivized, so it could also be at the sea. If we get the Oxyale.
Right, yeah, I was about to mention that. Although that is a little bit more quest chainy than it just sitting in the waterfall.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll get a crown from Sarda.
Alright, well, we know Astos is not sitting in Northwest Castle, so not quite so laborious of a turn-in as one might normally expect.
No, and Astos is really not a threat at any time in this game, except for when it shuffles up to the King and Sarah. So, the runners are not even thinking about that as we find the crystal in Titan's Trove.
So, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary folks, your inner sea quest chains have all apparently centered around the Titan's Trove.
Yeah, look at this fetch quest bonanza that we've turned up. We've found the crown, we found the herb, we found the ruby, the crystal, the adamant.
Yeah,
Where are the real items?
All we're missing is explosives at this point.
Slab we found. Yeah, the TNT, I wonder if we'll get that from Astos just to complete the trolliness.
Yeah. No kidding. Alright, so dual turn-ins. Sarasan translates the slab, Zero Cool turns in the ruby, and Darren's about to get the ship, so...
Ooh. Bottle.
Well, you'll use it eventually.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't want it now because you're still saying, well, geez, I mean, I can't. I want my airship. I can't use the bottle until I get the airship.
Right.
So that feels like a big slap in the face to me if I'm running at this point.
Right. Well, the good news is you've also got the crystal to turn in, and so DVS saved at Canaria just in case the crystal item doesn't turn out to be much, at least in terms of progress. It looks like Sarasan may very well be heading up for Waterfall to see what's over there.
Yeah, and that could be the big brain play. I mean, we don't know. Matoya, we still haven't seen the katana or the ribbon. Matoya could be holding on to either of those. So although they're nice to have, like the black shirt that DVS just found, it's not progression.
Speaking of Inner Sea fetch quest chain items, we did get our explosives. Also, chat charting out evil routes for our fetch quest chain. Well, sadly, I mean, we do have the bottle, but we're not quite to your level of evilness just yet. Working on it, though.
So DVS giving us a peek at what Narek the Dwarf is holding on to. The ribbon. So Sarasan's play looking better and better as DVS goes through and checks all the boxes.
Yeah, it certainly looks good right now.
Yeah, you have to think from a technical perspective that you want to do the box ticking. Technical and a routing perspective, you want to do the box ticking that DVS is doing.
Yeah.
But in a race situation, especially when you're a little bit newer, yeah, sometimes you roll the dice and you go for the Hail Mary, and sometimes it pays off.
Yeah, it is certainly about kind of making those guesses, or the sort of galaxy brain plays, as we colloquially put it. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. See how the Waterfall treats Sarasan.
And then, of course, I mean, it's such an interesting development of playstyles that we have here, because we've got Sarasan going for the Hail Mary. We've got DVS going through and systematically checking everything with the minimum amount of levels. And then we've got Darren D-Rise coming up with this kind of slow and steady wins the race approach where, there was the grinding, just getting nuke now, stuff like that. But, could pay off in terms of stability if DVS runs into something tricky.
Yeah. It's definitely, and it's nice to see all these different approaches, because that's one of the fun things about this game is just depending on the seed, which I guess is really the case for any randomizer, there are a variety of strategies that can pay dividends, that can bear fruit, and we'll see which one of those truly does bear fruit. See if Sarasan's works out in just a second.
Sarasan finding another flame armor and another ribbon, the ribbon, of course, being useful, and the flame armor is just vendor material at this point.
Yeah.
That armor. Okay, well, Oxy could still lead to the floater.
And a third ribbon!
Sitting right next to it. Whoa.
Wow. I was about to say, what is this madness? So that does open up that the floater could very well be in the sea, potentially.
Yep, although it's funny because it means Sarasan has to double down on this Hail Mary play. Of course, you go for it, but Steve's got some pretty tough monsters in there, so you're going to hope that you get a few nukes off on some early packs and maybe get the levels you need to stay alive when the ghosts start hitting hard.
Right, yeah. I wonder also, I think Sarasan went straight for Waterfall. Did he check the vendor in the desert? Because I don't believe he did. And we're still looking for that vendor item.
No, you're absolutely right. He did not check it, and we have not seen it. So it could very well be there. Yeah, it could be somewhere on this continent.
Yeah.
As he goes down to talk to the ladies.
Yeah, so I mean, if I were in this situation, what I would do is, well, buy that lit 3 for starters. I would save here, and then I would go ahead and run off to the desert vendor and see what's there. And then if it's nothing, then just reset back to on rack and dive from that point. It looks like Sarasan's going to go ahead and go for the ocean dive, which is understandable because we know that the ocean is incentivized.
Yeah, and the other thing is it's really attractive to run down to the mermaid floor because there are a lot of boxes down there. Now, Sarasan actually is pretty overgeared at this point, but especially if you're a new runner, you're always lured by boxes and what they could possibly have that will increase your survivability.
Yeah, that's true. Chat pointing out that DVS found an iron goal tile, which, if you've got the right spells in hand, like, say, Nuke, then that's very, very good to find for your grinding purposes.
Yeah, iron goals are nice, and because there can only be 4 of them, it's not as risky as some of the other packs with 9 enemies on the screen.
Right. Alright, so it looks like Zero Cool's headed over to the Ice Cave. Of course, we know that that will ultimately net him the key. And Darren is, I think, headed down to Ordeals, or headed that direction, it would appear. And DVS finding the white shirt in the 6-pack in the bottom of Ice. So that'll be nice for trying to get evasion up.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, white shirt, in addition to being the ultimate armor for the white wizard, it casts Invis 2. So anybody can become an Invis 2 caster and really help your defense in the late game.
Right, absolutely. All right, let's see what's waiting in that sea chest. Another black shirt, and
there's the floater.
So, congratulations, you called it, chat.
So, this is really interesting. Did Sarasan just take the lead?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, it just depends really on obviously where all the items end up placing out, but the mobility advantage is definitely going to prove important, I think, for Sarasan. The Galaxy Brain play in retrospect could very well have been right here and now.
Yeah, and just going over Sarasan's tracker, according to the tracker, he doesn't have the loot. In fact, according to the tracker, nobody does, but I feel like we have seen it.
Yeah, the loot, I'm seeing the loot lit up on all of them, so I think everybody's got it.
Okay, must be my screen. So if Sarasan has the loot and has the key, missing chime still? Oh, that's my problem. I was looking at the chime instead of the loot.
Ah, makes sense. Yeah,
so Sarasan needs chime for go mode.
Right, yeah, nobody's found the chime yet. And it does show he does have the cube.
Yeah, so chime probably vendor item at Oasis, maybe?
Potentially. It'll be interesting to see. We do have that bottle turn in that we have yet to see, so...
The slab as well.
Right, yes. Though Sarasan does not have the bottle yet, so... So hopefully that will get covered before you get any major traveling about.
Yeah, and DVS does check the Oasis and does not find the vendor item. So all that leaves now is Gaia. I think it just leaves Gaia.
Let's see. It leaves the bottle turn in. It leaves the slab turn in. But as far as vendor items, yeah, I believe Gaia is the only place left. Ooh, I see Zero Cool has found some a lot of very bad men, and hopefully they won't do grievous things to him.
Yeah, bad men, in addition to being just enemies with very high stats, and in the vanilla game, really nasty spells, there's also potentially 8 or 9 of them, so they can be a really tough fight.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Darren heading out of the ordeals, but I do not see a ruby lit up, so... Be curious to see. I admittedly didn't see if he made it all the way out or not, but... Meanwhile, Sarasan is taking on Kraken, and is going to start out by powering up the the ninja, understandable. And Kraken starts out with fire too, that fortunately doesn't do a whole lot. Brack strats are successful on turn 1.
Bracken the Kraken, of course, 26% chance to function on the first time that you fight Kraken, so those are pretty good odds when you've got 3 black mageable characters. Blackcasters, rather.
I must say, though, I think if I were in Sarasan's position and I had gotten the floater on the Galaxy Brain, the Waterfall Sea play, and then bracking Kraken in one turn, my Galaxy Brain would be feeling pretty big right now.
For sure. For sure. Sarasan looks to be going up to get the airship, and why wouldn't you? You've already done ordeals, and you need the airship to get to...
Gaia.
Oh, it looks like he's not. Or is it faster to go west here? I always go east along the southern coast of the continent.
Admittedly, actually, I think he might be wondering that too.
There's a lot of open sea just coming within sight of land now, so that's gotta be a relief.
Yeah, that's one of the problems I will admit I've had trying to learn some. Oh, got it pretty much right. Is once you get in the middle of that big open sea, it's just like, okay, where am I again? And chat pointing out that Darren did indeed get the ruby out of ordeals, so the Titan can be appeased.
Great, he'll be able to pick up his quest check bonanza.
I'll say that 5 times fast.
Oh, I just did, I think.
Well, we have an Excal for Sir Knight not appearing in this seed.
Yeah, that's vendor trash.
Alright, so Sarasan making his way over to Sarda, and so now we will see the crown. We'll see King Sarda, and like you said, get that quest chain rolling. So the airship obviously is going to make it a pretty good bit faster than everything else.
Exactly right, Garant. I mean, this is where Sarasan picks up some time against DVS. Now, the only downside, or the thing that puts it back in DVS's court, is that the minute that DVS gets the airship, we'll be able to do the bottle turn in, and we're thinking that that's going to be that plus the vendor item being at Gaia means that that's probably going to have our progression.
Yeah, so because we're looking at the progression items right now that are necessary, being the rod and the chime, because we know where the cube is. So alright, so yeah, Sarasan now has the bottle and is shopping the level 7 magic, for which, there's fast, so your powering for your black wizards is complete, albeit you don't want to see fast necessarily quite that high.
No, you don't, although it's not as bad as seeing temper up there. I mean, you only need a few shots of cast in the final analysis. There's our chime.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep.
DPS checking some pretty exotic chests.
Well,
And
we have a nice ninja weapon.
Yeah, sorry to jump in on you there. The fairy handing over the katana, so it's a bit of a King Arthur, Lady of the Lake, sword in the stone type of situation.
Well, I suppose not quite the right sword though, because I mean we've already seen Excalibur, but oh well. I mean, sharp sword is still sharp sword, no matter where you get it.
A bit of a bargain basement King Arthur type of situation. So
Maybe they read the wrong legends. Who knows?
So Sarasan, now we're going to find out if Sarasan translated their slab. Okay, he did. Good job, Sarasan. A DVS seems to be taking a fair bit of time checking chests in C, and I'm not really sure why. We don't have any loose items in this particular seed, so there's no reason to go around opening a lot of boxes, especially ones that are spaced out like that and have some tough fights in the middle. So I'd be interested to hear from chat what the theories might be on why DVS is checking those chests.
Yeah, that is a good question, especially because DVS is only running a two party member group, and already has at least one ribbon. So
already has a power bonk.
Yeah, I mean that's really about the only thing I could imagine that DVS would be looking for at this point. That chat mentioning, yeah, I was gonna say chat mentioning. Katanas or also grind tiles, perhaps.
Maybe, but DVS has already seen some pretty good grind tiles, I think. This is a good one, though. 2 sandworms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That 4,000 XP will go far to getting some levels. So already level 23. That's pretty good levels. For a 2-man party, you'll probably want to go a bit higher, but still pretty good levels at this point in the game.
Yes, and thank you, Lemon Kitsune and Shaq. It was the Iron Gold grind that DVS had seen. I knew it was something good. So we're not sure. I mean, the defense sword is the only thing that I haven't seen them find. But that's not worth going full clear simulator here. I'll
be curious. We may have to see about asking him whenever he finishes, and we can get him into chat. Yeah, 2 ribbons are better than 1. I know, though, that at least we in the omniscient commentators box, have seen 3 ribbons already, so I guess that's really the big quandary, is what exactly is, was, I suppose, he looking for, because now he is about to head over and take on the great mini-armed one down here at the bottom, or mini-tentacled one, I suppose.
Yeah, now what might be happening, this is my best theory, is that DVS has a gentleman's agreement with one of the other runners that they're going to full clear C. Sometimes runners will do something like that to make it interesting. It's a little bit of swagger, but that could be what we're dealing with here.
It's a possibility. I certainly didn't see anything mentioned in the race time chat, so if that is the case, then it's something that they worked out privately or, before anybody opened up the room, so I don't know. It's still going to be a curiosity. It'll be an interesting conversation whenever everything's finished.
Yeah. Lemon Kitsune pointing out that with the white shirt, the defense sword is not necessary, and that's absolutely correct. Of course, it is still nice, because the thing about the defense sword is that it casts Ruse, which is worth 2 sacks of Invis instead of just 1 that you get from the white shirt spread out over your whole party. So that's why it's nice, but you're absolutely right. It's not it's not at all something that's needed with the two-man party, 2 ribbons, a great armor, and presumably decent magic charges as well.
I would presume that DVS is going back to... Yeah, it looks like he is going back to Sandworm Grind, because chat pointed out that he broke Kraken into pieces and now is going back to break Sandworms into pieces. Speaking of Kraken, or excuse me, that's not Kraken, but Sarasan is taking on Tiamat. So powering up and trying to employ those Brack strats again did not work first time this time, sadly. But still, good shot nonetheless. Thunder looks like it's not doing a whole lot to his warriors, which is nice. So, let's see what he's gonna use. Fog 2 ran out of Invis 2 charges. Go ahead and fast up the ninja to get some extra sword damage in. Although, unfortunately, turn order didn't work out terribly well in that aspect. Alright, so it looks like using more Power Bracelet because that last hit from the ninja didn't yield very much in regards to damage, so definitely understandable on that front. Looks to be kind of trying to decide what to do as far as some spells are concerned. Mixture of tempering the ninja and employing Brack strats to see if they work out. And they do! So Sarasan takes down Tia in pretty quick fashion.
Yeah, and I like the mixture approach when you're going up against Kraken or Tiamat for the first time. By all means, unless you've got really high HP scaling or something to skew your decision making, you throw out a few tempers because you're going to eventually damage it down, and then you throw out a few blacks because if they connect, then well, you've done it in 1 or 2 turns instead of 3 or 4.
Right. Yeah, it certainly worked out. And now, looks like Sarasan is going to go ahead and invade Earth and probably just blaze right through it. I don't expect a whole lot of open boxes or really running around too much at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Sarasan is tearing through this seed at this point in full go mode, and I think with all the gear you really could want. The only question at this point is levels. HP is a little low to be taking on high roll nukes.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, one of the things that you could see here in Earth Cave after Sarasan clears it is could quick dip back in to check out those grind tiles at the Hall of Giants and see if either of those end up working out well, because I don't believe we've seen anybody dive Earth yet, because Earth wasn't incentivized, so no real reason to. So we've yet to see what those grind tiles potentially could be.
You're right. We haven't seen Earth yet, and those are great tiles to check. They're right at the beginning of the dungeon, and they're right next to each other too. So if you find a good grind, you don't even have to take the chance of catching an encounter on your off step. You can just go back and forth between the two.
Right. Alright, so it looks like DVS is pretty much ready to go as far as, at least has taken down Kraken. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it does have the floater, so it's heading up, I presume, to go ahead and go get the airship. Meanwhile, a vampire is about to get punched into the ground. Or nuked into the ground. That works too.
Yeah, Vampire, the bargain bin lich of this game's lore, just kind of guarding that first half of Earth. Of course, speedrunners like to be able to come in here only one time, whereas in the vanilla game you were forced to leave and then come back with the rod.
Right. Alright, so DVS now has the airship and is sailing around after all the level 7 stuff, and Darren Dries is just about to get the airship himself, so we are, I believe, pretty much, well, we're just about all airborne. Zero Cool is the only one on stream who is yet to get airborne, but of course we know that once he gets the Oxyale and heads into C, he's going to find that floater soon enough himself.
Yeah, and Darren, not that far behind DVS, except the issue is no orbs lit. So that's going to be... So if we say that Sarasan is an orb and a half ahead of DVS, and DVS is 2 orbs ahead of Darren Dries, there is a bit of spread here, maybe about 10 to 12 minutes between each of these runners.
Yeah.
At this point.
I mean, the good news is, though, with no loose, as far as treasure is concerned, once you do get into going ahead and diving for all the orbs, meanwhile, Sarasan wipes Lich out. Basically, you blink and Lich is dead.
Yeah, I didn't even see was Lich there. All I heard was the sound of an orb being lit.
Yeah, the speed bump is truly the speed bump as we all know and love him.
Sarasan getting into Temple of Fiends Revisited at 103.23. That's quick.
Yeah, definitely. So Sarasan's just been motoring through these flags so far. We'll see if the levels are good enough as far as the Temple of Fiends Revisited is concerned. Fortunately, the scaling for the bosses is no different than the scaling for the regular fiends, or regular monsters. So 50 to 200%. So we could see some not so fun fiends down here, or we could see some fiends that decided to take a little bit of a holiday.
Yeah, I suspect we'll get a little bit of both as Sarasan takes on some Bloodies. This is actually a good experience tile, but I don't think we'll see Sarasan waiting around. It's going to be just try and see if you can pound through. I have to say I am concerned about the level situation, but he's got heals and he's got good magic and good gear, so it's doable.
Yeah, 23, I mean, just in my own experience, feels a little low to me. But then again, yeah, like you said, with enough heals and good equipment, it is definitely, you can pull it off if RNGesus treats you nicely. Alright, so Darren is heading down toward Lefane to do that turn in and go ahead and start completing the item grab. Well, it looks like so far Sarasan is having a pretty decent time of the dungeon, although, of course, we haven't gotten down to the Fiend floors proper yet, so, well, now we have. So, we'll see how the Fiendry fights treat Sarasan, but so far, things haven't been too bad on the way down. And apparently the Earths just decided to snort at me for that comment. Shame on them.
They know what we don't. They know what's coming up, and they're saying, just wait. Just you wait.
Yeah. Well, Sarasan now getting the kind of the nasty side of the encounter counts here.
Yeah, good to see that on this Earth floor, though. Yeah, I mean, the worst thing is to just be taking encounter after encounter on that water floor. I swear, I don't know the statistics on it, but I always feel like I get more encounters on that particular floor.
I mean, I would imagine statistically it's probably not all that different, but the big thing with, at least to me, with the water floor, is I think you run over more territory on that floor than you do in any of the others, with the possible exception of this Earth floor. So it just feels so, yeah, like you said, all those encounters, and especially them hitting as hard as they can, it's just, you just basically hold, run, and pray pretty much on that floor.
Yeah, and I learned recently that you can save yourself a few steps on the water floor if you go to the left and you're smart about where you step. We'll see if Sarasan takes that optimal step routing and maybe try to describe it as he goes through.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's taking on the Lich refight and has taken down the Lich refight. It is also worth mentioning that we do now have a first place finisher, as Thunderclawed has finished in first place with an official race time of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 51 seconds. So, GG to Thunderclawed.
Yeah, GG's to Thunderclawed. Has done well in some other races recently, so not a surprise to see the first place finish there.
Oh yeah, Thunderclawed is definitely a top flight runner. And so, yeah, no surprise whatsoever, really. Alright, so it looks like we have the carry refight here on Sarasan's screen. Carry tried to start things off with a bang, but it didn't quite work. Alright, looks like we've got Fast and Tempers going off. The Ninja swinging for about 200. Unfortunately, turn order didn't work out for the Ninja this time, but that next hit should go a good bit harder. Concentrating definitely on defense and trying to get the fighter, or trying to get the good grief, the Ninja pumped up. Sorry, I'm getting my classes all tossed around here. But fortunately, the Ninja's hitting pretty hard. 10 hits, 868 will take down Carry 2, and Sarasan goes to that terrifying water floor.
Yeah, now I wonder if we're going to see Sarasan start to reorder his party when he faces Lich and Tiamat. It's hard to say with the three-man composition, but you are leaning pretty heavily on that Ninja surviving and the White Mage in order to bring the Black Mage back up. So if it's me, I'm putting the Black Mage in slot 1, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Although it looks like if this party has its way... Okay. Oh, Sarasan was able to get away, but my heavens, I'd have been sweating with all that going on.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, Sarasan not using all of the free tiles that he could have running along the bottom of the inside of that room. That's one of the things that can reduce your step count on this floor a bit, which, as we were saying, there's a lot of steps on this floor and a lot of nasty enemies.
Yeah. Alright, so we have the Kraken refight, Fast, Power Bracelet, and Invis 2 starting to go out. Definitely important because Kraken is colloquially known in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community as being the first real sort of major gatekeeper in Temple of Fiends Revisited, because Kraken can hit really hard with all those tentacles. Good news is for Sarasan, so too can the Ninja hit, and is fortunately able to gets through a bang with nobody getting hit. So that's good news. The Black Wizard is down for the count, sadly, but Sarasan is able to push through, and now is going to go on to the Tia refight shortly.
Yeah, you always feel good getting through Kraken 2. Because of those 10 hits, it can be seriously difficult. Sometimes even more so than Tiamat.
Yeah. So you were mentioning the party swap. He did go ahead and make that swap, so the Black Wizard is now in the top slot. As we get to the Tia refight, starts out with Fire 3, so not too bad. Getting the Ninja all buffed up and ready to go, getting Invis 2 back on again. Of course, sensible, obviously. You want as much avoid as you can get. Alright, so gonna go ahead and swing with the Ninja and gets about 350 out of it. Not great, but not the worst thing in the world. Tia tries to back row said Ninja, which is not fun. And we get nukes, looks like Invis, and let's see, that nuke hits for a pretty good amount. Cure 4, bringing the Ninja back up, which is a good move there. Gets a little over 500 out of the Ninja on that swing, so looks like things are going pretty well against Tia 2, and 155 on the nuke takes down Tia 2, so we're going to have Sarasan on the way to Chaos momentarily.
Yeah, well, I mean, once again, we got to have our hats off to Sarasan. Of course, the race is not done. We still have Chaos, but what I mean to say is coming in without doing a grind so far has been paying dividends, as Sarasan has just enough health to take those hits.
Yeah. So, alright, we have ourselves Chaos Fight, Fast, Invis 2, and going ahead and using the Power Bonk to, again, get the Ninja all prepped up. Chaos starts out with a Fire 3, which fortunately doesn't do much to our nicely garbed warriors. And we have Temper on the Ninja. We have a Red Mage, which is kind of deciding what to do. And Chaos coming out with Blaze, which also doesn't do a whole lot of damage, fortunately. The Ninja does a good bit. And so go ahead and see. Got more, looks like curing going on. The Ninja's going to be swinging. And I think, let's see, Chaos comes out with Tornado, which does hit the party pretty hard. And good news is the Ninja also hits pretty hard. temper on the ninja. So looks like this is kind of becoming a little bit of a battle, not so much of attrition per se, but trying to keep everybody up in the face of Chaos. Chaos tries to rub the ninja, it does not work. The Red Wizard cure 4s themselves, and with 1052 damage, Sarasan has finished the seed and has finished in third place with a time of 1 hour, 12 minutes, 49 seconds. Burt Reynolds had snuck in a second place finish 7 seconds previously. So GG to both Burt and Sarasan.
Yeah, wow. You know, if I'm third to Thundercloud and Burt Reynolds is only 7 seconds ahead of me, I'm feeling like I had a pretty good night. GG's to Sarasan. I wonder if we'll get Sarasan in chat here. I don't know if we're going to be doing that this time. Karant, have you heard anything about that?
As far as the chat invites, that is all SpeedGaming's baby. So if Sarasan decides to come in, then they will, and if they choose not to, then we shall see. But it looks like Sarasan is about to head on here, so is in the SpeedGaming room, and so should be joining us in just a moment.
Good times. And another thing I want to point out, chat shouting out the robots. We did see Warmack on Darren D. Rise's screen as Darren managed to take out the robot chicken before going to Tia.
Yeah, I guess we were so focused on Sarasan's fights, I missed that myself, so it's too bad. You never really want to miss Robot Chicken going down in flames. All right, so while we're while we're looking at Sarasan getting ready to come join us in chat, looks like Zero Cool is about to pick up the slab turn in as the rod, and DVS is in the Temple of Fiends Revisited as well, so we'll be seeing that dive as in progress as we go along.
Yeah, DVS taking a second and thinking about that gold +6 bracelet. The flame armor's probably better.
All right, so Darren going into the volcano to grab that fire orb, and just basically, I think Darren decided to go ahead and get everything and then go after those orbs. All right, looks like we are joined in chat by Sarasan. GG, Sarasan.
GG's, thank you. I got the heart pounding over here. I did not expect to do as well as I did. Especially with the ice dive. Ooh.
Yeah, ice was not fun for much of anybody. I mean, ice is not really much fun anyway. But yeah, you were having some pretty serious trouble there. It looked like you decided after taking a handful of wipes to just go ahead and grab some extra levels at the beginning of ice and then make that dive again.
Yeah, once I realized that the Black Mage could have his nuke charges, that was kind of the deciding factor. And then I hadn't even realized that he was getting charges up as high as the warp. So once I realized that, I modified my tactics.
Yeah, well, that's understandable. I will say also, you heading up to go ahead and do Waterfall relatively quickly turned out to really be the galaxy brain play of this seed, I think.
Yeah, I felt pretty good about that too. I realized at the point I was at that really all my progression was either going to be on-rack or ordeals. And, why would I start in town when I could go up to the waterfall, see what's there, see if I get something worthwhile?
Yeah, and it ended up working out beautifully. I mean, because of course you got the Oxy Ale, and then that pointed you straight at C, which of course was where old Floatymus was hiding for us.
Yeah, and that certainly felt good in the moment too.
Yeah, oh, I can imagine. So what were your thoughts on the sea just in general?
It seemed very generous in the beginning, right up until the ice thing. The volcano dip that I did, where that first chest with like 55k in it was glorious. And that sort of set me up from there. I didn't really want to do that roundabout around the inner sea that I did initially after, the initial checks there, but I just wasn't seeing the options without doing those dives. And after all of that, it opened up and felt good. Everything just seemed to flow naturally from there.
Yeah, understandable. Go ahead and mention to everybody that Gregory Puff has registered a 4th place finish with an official time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 42 seconds. So, GG, Gregory Puff.
Indeed, GG to Gregley.
So, the flags in for this seed were the week 3 duckling flags, or the duckling weekly flags. So, did you feel? You said you felt like the seed was pretty generous to start out with. How did you feel about starting out with the promoted classes? Because I'll admit that's something I've not seen very much in any of these seeds.
I'm going to start out by saying that this is like my 2nd week of doing rando for this game. So, it's all pretty new to me. Nothing is terribly familiar. But I ran this flag set probably 3 or 4 times since the weekly was announced. So I've had a bit of experience with the flags, and still made sure to keep them up on the 2nd monitor the whole time, because otherwise I feel like I'm just not going to do anything right. And with the promoted classes, everything felt fine. It's less of a worry about when I can get certain things and all that. And just being able to equip everything right away is very nice. And with the shop info on, that helps a lot, because I'm not super familiar with everything else anyway.
Right.
Same with the blurses.
Yeah, understandable. Rock Solid, did you want to go ahead and narrate the chaos fight as DVS is getting into it?
Yeah, I'd be delighted. Here we go. We'll get started off with a fast on the Ninja. Now, the Ninja is in the back slot, which is what you want to see, with the Ninja being your main damage dealer. A fast and a temper charge coming from that power gauntlet. We're up to 2 temper shots already. I think this is our 2nd white shirt cast, so we've got 2 of those. 2 or 3 white shirts stacked up against Chaos is usually going to be pretty good. As Chaos comes out with a nice 2, that's basically negligible chip damage at this point, especially given that the Ninja is well above nuke range. 2nd nice 2 from Chaos is bringing that Ninja down closer to nuke range, so we are getting a little bit concerned, but 6 hits for 1,446 damage, and that's all she wrote. DVS finishes at the 1 hour and 20 minute mark. GG's to DVS.
Yes, GG. That puts DVS in 5th place. And it looks like DVS is already materializing in the Speed Gaming room, so we will be chatting with him momentarily. I will say also, Sarasan, before DVS comes in, you mentioning that you were just a couple of weeks into racing this. I will say that outside of being pasted all over Ice Dungeon for a while, which, I mean, let's face it, that's happened to all of us. You really couldn't have told that this was your 2nd week or so of racing. You did exceptionally well, certainly finishing in top flight along, names like Burt Reynolds and Gregory Puff. They've been part of this community for quite some time, and you finishing among their ranks made for a really good time. So definitely very impressed.
Thank you. And certainly I felt that too. As I was going through Topher, I was just like, when's Thunderclawed finishing? When's Bird finishing? Like, it was hearts racing as I haven't seen any of the duns come in, and is great feeling like I was competing here.
Yeah, absolutely. You did really well. So definitely GG on that. GG on finishing the seed, and definitely we appreciate you running this seed, and we appreciate you wanting to be on comms, or non-comms, on a Restream for us, because obviously any folks that we can get to show us their work and entertain us are very much appreciated. So we definitely appreciate you being in here. And looks like DBS hopefully will be joining us soon, so you guys we can chat, and perhaps you guys can chat about tactics a bit. So we shall see. I think DVS is still working on getting everything ready, but should be joining us momentarily.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in while we're waiting for him there, Current. I was running the duck flags myself earlier this week, and I saw Sarasan in my chat, didn't recognize the name. To have somebody go from that to suddenly being third behind Thundercloud and Burt Reynolds and just ahead of Gregley, it is quite an achievement. And it goes to show that the level of energy of new players is really hot in this community right now. So thanks for being on stream, Sarasan. We really appreciate it.
And thank you for comms on this.
Oh, no problem. We are joined in chat by DVS. Hey, DVS, how's it going?
Hey guys, I'm good. That was fun. That was fun. I like
GG.
that. Thanks.
GG.
So, what were your thoughts on the seed, just overall?
Overall, I thought it was pretty generous. I mean, Thundercloud and I decided to go with Thief Black Mage, and no surprise, he beat me quite a little bit. But I think it was that I had delayed the Ice Cave dive for so long, and it happened to be the key. But it happens. But yeah, I think the seed was pretty generous. I mean, I found 4 ribbons in pretty obvious places. I found my white shirt. I was looking for a defense, so that was like the one thing I kept looking for, and eventually was like, all right, I have to just stop looking for it and keep going. But yeah, I thought the seed was pretty generous. I didn't feel like I ran into a bunch of roadblocks. There was some good early armor, good early weapons. Magic was okay. The fact that the Black Mage had the improved MP made buying Warp and Crescent Lake super helpful. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good seed. It was fun.
It's interesting you mentioned looking for the defense sword, because probably the big question that chat was sort of priming us to ask you was about all of that box opening that you were doing in the Sea Shrine, because we were trying to speculate exactly what you were looking for. There was even speculation that there may have been a gentleman's agreement to open up all those boxes or something on that end.
No, the TFC was for the meme, honestly, because like once I got there, I was like, all right, I'll check one more chest. And I was like, I gotta check TFC since I'm here. No, but it was really for the defense sword. I was assuming that Kraken 2 was going to be a lot worse than they actually were. Because, I mean, I have to get used to like 50 to, what are they, 50 to 150? 50 to 200 clamps.
Yeah, 50 to 200.
Normally I'm running like 150 to 300. So you can't really get away with not having some decent evade.
Yeah.
But what I didn't account for was how good the armor was on my ninja. And I think that kind of mitigated a lot of the potential problems with Kraken. But yeah, I was looking for the defense. I had the white shirt. I didn't think it was going to be enough, considering what I usually face. And then Kraken ended up being very spell happy, and when she hit, it wasn't that hard. So it kind of ended up just being a huge loss of time. But I don't run 2-man parties a lot. I know like Thunder and Crab Cakes have been doing it, Spells App as well. So it's kind of a new thing for me.
Yeah, it's understandable. I mean, with a 2-man party, and like you said, since you're used to running more Iron Goal style flags with the 150 to 300%, I could understand that caution, certainly. So, okay, that was, I guess, the biggest question. We were just sort of puzzled in comms and chat. We were all sort of sitting there going, okay, what's going on here? Yeah. But yeah, I could definitely understand that from that perspective.
Yeah, at first it was, I need a better weapon. I had a Vorpal -1. I knew there was an incentive katana, but it was really the evade that was kind of playing on my mind. It'd be great if there was another good weapon that popped up. I think overall the biggest loss of time was just on the overworld, saving ice for last and doing the whole crystal to crystal to TNT to ribbon chain. I mean, I know the boxes killed a lot of time too, but Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going for. I mean, there was a chance that Topher was going to be a lot worse than it was, and there's a chance that it was going to be paper, and today it happened to be paper. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, with 50 to 200%, yeah, you have to sort of prepare for both because it can be 200 or it can be 50, and it was, like you said, a lot closer to 50 this time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if anyone else, like, I don't know if anyone on stream found grind tiles or anything like that, but that was something I was trying to check just to make sure I had, like, I was waiting for nuke or nuclear in Topher, because just one of those is enough to kind of ruin a two-man party. It was kind of nice to find those sandwiches in C, and just kind of take them up pretty quick, but, yeah, I don't know how the other runners did it, because you approach it with 4 people very differently than you approach it with 2. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what other people did, I should say.
Yeah, well, GG, thank you for joining us. We definitely appreciate it, and I hope you had fun running those flags tonight.
Oh yeah, I actually, ninjas are one of my favorite parties, or one of my favorite classes in the game. So it's always a blast to be able to run ninjas. Good time.
Yeah, especially when you can start out with one. You don't even have to worry about promoting it.
Exactly.
And chat mentioning that Speed Bump 2 apparently had nuclear, so...
Oh, did he? Okay. I mean, like, for me, that first grind was like, I need to get over 400 for at least my ninja, and get the black mage up there in the mid 3s, just in case that happened. And then I was waiting for Chaos to do it, but I one-shot Chaos, so that was kind of an unexpected thing too. But
yeah, surprise.
Yeah, but
so
the last Chaos I fought had 7,000 HP, so
oh god,
it was nice to have one that got one shot.
Oh my heavens! I think I'd be having nightmares about that one.
Well, I mean, it took like 70 rounds with 102 damage crit loop, so it was it was quite the experience.
Oh boy.
Yeah, like I said, usually a little bit different than these types of flags, but it's a ton of fun to run them. Like, this is the enjoyable running as opposed to some of the Iron Gall stuff where it is a slog for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they did a great job with these flags.
Yeah. Well, Rock Solid, did you have any questions for DVS before we head on to see how the other 2 runners are doing?
Well, I'd say you pretty much covered it all, Carant, except for just one question hanging around on my mind. DVS, you mentioned looking for grind tiles, and we did see you go back and pick up some sandwiches after dealing with the squid. Didn't you find an iron gold tile earlier?
Yeah, I did. The reason I did the sandwiches, other than the iron gall, so I found the iron gall tile, I found the nacho tile, like all of those are good tiles. The reason I did the sandwiches is because I was already in Sea Shrine, and if I killed Kraken, it's 50% experience per orb. So I knew that if I did the orb and I had warp, then it would be a quick walk to go to the sandwiches. The sandwiches were also going down in one swing each, whereas the iron galls were taking 2 or 3 swings and a nuke. Plus they were all in Ice Cave. So and at that time, I don't think, I didn't have the floater at that time, so it wasn't like a quick little run off over there. So the thinking was, it's going to be a very fast grind. It's going to be higher experience and pretty safe, honestly. So I went with that decision. I don't really know experiences as well as a lot of the other vets because, like how an iron gall would compare to sandwiches. I mean, it might be like 1 iron gall for 2 sandwiches or 3 sandwiches, but if it takes 3 rounds to kill an iron gall, whereas it takes 1 round to kill 2 sandwiches, the sandwiches win. So that was my thinking behind it.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry.
Go for it.
Well, and that's why they call him the professor. DVS dropping the knowledge on us about the origin of the XP bonus. Burt Reynolds also pointed that out earlier in chat, and that's not something that I'm used to paying attention to as a new player. There's still a lot of factors bouncing around, and I didn't even know that rooms could have experience bonuses. I thought it was only key items. So just goes to show that when you have that deep knowledge of the flag set that you're running, you can get experience faster and do plays that might look strange on stream, but work out. And of course, we certainly understand that you wanted to take those higher levels. I would have done the same thing. I'm not going into potentially 200% scaled Topher with a party that's going to be wiped out with a single nuke. Yeah. So it seemed like it was the right play, but I just caught the back end of some faster runners. But always a pleasure to watch you run, DBS.
Oh, thanks, man. And for you ducks that are watching, there's probably going to be a shard hunt week. So know that... Oh, somebody else finished. Jeez. Know that with shards, they have an experience boost as well. It'll say like 50% per shard or 25% per shard, or per 8 shards, but it's actually divvied up per individual shard. They just use 8 as kind of like a round number. So the more shards you collect, the higher your experience is going to get. And if you get over the minimum number of shards, your experience continues to go up, I believe. Chat can correct me if I'm wrong. So, like, understanding the different types of experience growth, especially like previous spring tournaments I've watched where it's like 100% boost at 12 key items. So you get nothing until you hit that 12th key item or 15th key item. There's a lot of cool stuff in there when it comes to XP growth.
Well, yeah, thank you for letting us know about that. That is definitely important for, like you said, for the Ducks coming up. Yeah. And that finisher was Darren Dries, finishing in 6th place with a time of let's see, my prescription is not so good, 1:34.11. So GG's to Darren Dries. Congratulations. And hopefully we will have him on stream shortly. So, but thank you, DBS. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Enjoyed watching you run, as always.
Nice.
Hope you have a great rest of your evening.
Oh, I will. You two guys. Have a good one.
All right, so that was DVS, and of course we mentioned Darren Dries finishing up, and Zero Cool is now on the Chaos fight. So we have Powers and Tempers, Chaos trying to rub out that ninja and failing. We have White Shirts coming on board. So, all right, and we are joined in chat by Darren Dries. So GG Darren Dries, we are in the middle of a Chaos fight for Zero Cool.
Wow, how's he been doing?
Been doing pretty well. I was actually coming into Topher and was catching up on you pretty well. So it's been running pretty nicely. Everybody on stream did a really good job. So GG's Darren Dries. What did you think about the seed in general as we watched Zero Cool looking like he's probably about to finish up this Chaos fight?
Yeah, that was a fun one. I really enjoyed it. The routing was interesting. I'll have to go back and see where everybody else went, because I know that there was probably something I could have done quicker, but I really loved like having to go through Volcano and Ice Cave early in order to get the ship and to get out of the sea. It's really fun when you have to figure out the inner sea.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we see Zero Cool finishing in 7th place with an official time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, 12 seconds. And conversely, Danny also finished in 8th place with a time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 29 seconds. So GG to both.
Yeah, if I could just jump in here and ask a quick question, Darren. It was great to watch your race today. You did very well, and took an approach a little bit different than some of the other runners on screen in terms of being a little bit safer early on. It helped you be a little bit more consistent and avoid some trouble, I think. One of the things that I noticed was that you came across Mormek in Sky and managed to get through the fight okay, which might not have been the case for some of the other runners a bit lower leveled. So what were you when you saw Mormek pop up, what were you thinking? Were you thinking, okay, great, here's some good experience? Or were you thinking, oh no, I don't want any of this?
was actually searching for Warmech. If you watch it, I was just started going straight up right when I went in there, and then just went right and kept going up until I found him. So I wanted the levels, I wanted the experience, and I knew that there had already been at least one person who finished, so I was going to play around a little bit and see what I could do. So I figured that I would go and fight a Warmech.
Okay, well, so yeah, now I didn't see, I wasn't watching your screen when you were hunting for him, but I guess that's an option that you have when we've got a wandering Warmech. You can go looking for him in that maze and take the fight to the chicken.
I was like high teens, and I wanted to be around the low 20s by the time that I got into the Temple of Fiend, so that was going to be the quickest way to get experience.
Yeah, so, okay, so now here's another one for you. I think you were the one with the Ninja 2 Red Mage, White Mage party comp. Was that correct?
I had 2 blacks, white, and a ninja.
Oh, right. So you were going heavy on the black magic. How did you feel when you saw, some of that early white magic with Life 2 and Cure 4 at level 2? Did you feel like you missed out at all, or were you feeling pretty good about your choices?
No, I felt pretty good. They all had pretty decent bonuses, so I just wanted to go safe and take what I could.
Yeah, well, the safe play definitely served you well as you did finish the seed in an excellent time. I think we've got Zero Cool here as well.
Yeah, Zero Cool's not in the room quite yet, but probably still just getting ready to be on comms. But yeah, so I'm trying to sit here thinking if I had any particular questions, but it's good to see you enjoyed the seed overall. And all right, looks like Zero Cool has joined us and will be unmuting shortly to join us in chat. So GG Zero Cool, and thank you for running the seed with us.
Thank you for having me here. It's a bit nerve-wracking being on the front stage there.
Hey, no worries about that. I mean, as far as nerves and being in the front, being on a stream, I think one of the first times I was restreamed playing this game was during the spring tournament this year, and I completely blanked on an entire dungeon's existence for almost the entire seed. I don't know necessarily if it was restream nerves or just I didn't know the game as well as I thought I did, but yeah, it definitely happens to the best of us and the worst of us, like me. But you handled it really well, so GG. And what did you think of the seed all in all?
Well, I mean, it wasn't bad. Everything seemed to have been pretty linear as it was rolling out. I completely forgot about Waterfall until towards the end. Then once I found where the floater was down in Mermaids, I kind of clicked the box saying that nothing was there a few times.
Yeah,
that's really what I was looking for. But having 4 ribbons at the end was nice.
Oh yeah, that definitely makes for a very nice stroll through Topher when the fiends can pretty much throw just about anything at you and maybe not exactly shrug it off, but you can at least kind of take it on the chin a little bit and not have to worry too much.
Yeah, I think I accidentally ran into, I think, Lich 2 without healing, or it may have been Carry 2 without doing any kind of healing or anything, completely disrespecting them because I was trying to hurry.
Yeah, that's understandable. Well, the good news was Topher seemed to be fairly generous to all the runners tonight, so that was also, of course, good to see. And I'll mention that our final runner of the evening, Goats Pirate, has finished with a time of 1 hour, 41 minutes and 54 seconds. So GG to Goats Pirate and GG to all the runners tonight. So just about everybody has finished. We had one that did end up having to dip out a little early due to personal family concerns. So, but everything's good, and so everybody is definitely in good spirits tonight, I think. Rock Solid, did you have any questions for Zero Cool while we're getting ready to wrap things up tonight?
No, just Zero Cool, how long have you been in the Randomizer Discord? I don't recognize your name. I'm new myself, so I don't know everybody yet.
Well, I've been in the Discord for quite a while, but more of just sort of lurking around, and I dabbled a little bit in the randomizer, quite a few months back. It was only until about 3 weeks ago did I really start actually participating in like the duckling weeklies and all that other stuff, and this is my second actual streaming race that I did.
Yes, well, you've done really well. I mean, you've come in here just within minutes of many of the other completed runners. So GGs to that. How do you like the Discord community in terms of its friendliness and openness? Do you feel like it's pretty welcoming?
Oh yes, it's very welcoming. I don't feel that I'm necessarily a very new person to Final Fantasy 1 in general, but as it comes for handling the randomizer, all the specific little settings and everything, everyone's been extremely helpful. I've been watching all of the tournaments that's been gone on in the years past on YouTube and everything, so I've been getting familiar with Danny. I've been getting familiar with Gregory Puff. I mean, a lot of these other runners that are in here are quite familiar from previous races, but everyone's been very friendly.
Yeah, I feel like my situation's very similar. I've played FF1 forever, but only just recently got into Randomizer, and I've found that everyone's been so helpful in terms of getting us all set up and making us feel welcoming and saying, hey, you want to track, get in there and track. You want to do comms, do it. Hey, you want to be on screen on a race on SpeedGaming, then you can do that. So it's really fun, and I just wanted to get the word out there that if you've been watching us tonight and you're interested in that, by all means, come check us out at Final Fantasy Randomizer. You can see how the thing works online, and we'll help you figure it out. And you get to meet some interesting people like Zero Cool and the rest of us all here tonight. So I think that's going to about wrap it up for us. Caranta, any final thoughts before we get going here?
Well, first off, I do want to give shout-outs to everybody who was helping us behind the scenes. Of course, Rock Solid as my co-com. We had Jay Scheidel pushing all the buttons and making everything work. Kirito handled the restreaming, getting everything cropped on the SpeedGaming side. Was going to run the seed tonight, but was very gracious to go ahead and step in to do the restreaming, so definitely shout outs to that as well. Thank you to SpeedGaming for letting us invade tonight, and for those of you who are interested, you can find a link to the Discord at FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, and if you want to participate in any of the weekly races we have going, Monday nights, we have a race on Randomania, and of course we have this race here on SpeedGaming on Thursday nights, leading up to the Duckling Derby coming up in the middle of January, which is our race series that is specifically designed to showcase newer runners and their strategies. So definitely tune in for that. Make sure to follow all of our runners as well. Sarasan, Zero Cool, DVS, and Darren Dries. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed it. Thank you guys for having us as comms, and we definitely appreciate it.
Great. Well, it sounds like that's going to do it for us. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to our tracker, Jay Scheidel, and also Danny for organizing tonight. Thank you very much. To everybody else, thank you for joining us. Have yourself a wonderful night, and don't forget to go fast.